What if Deku was an experiment? Part 2. Now do it. So, we left off with, Mark, he about to throw hands, all right? He about to throw quality hands, quality smoke with this thing. He thinking, he just got a heat quirk. Because, like, when they're getting announced or whatever, their quirk, gets announced. He's like, all right, this is going to be easy. The second this dude steps up to, like, actually fight, right? Is the second that nigga hits the ground hard and heavy. Nigga's like, huh? Deku and Lavi is like dumb confused, like, what the fuck just happened? That nigga gets back up, but like this nigga's brain is being cooked. He's like, oh, what? You think I'm gonna let a close range fighter get close in on me? Please, I'm not childish or stupid, is basically what he was saying. And please, I went ahead and pulled out one of my trump cards just for such a special occasion. And also, yeah, this is really bad, okay? And Deku's like, huh? Huh? One of his homies, one of his niggas, the only person he's been able to truly talk to, right? And this dude's getting burnt alive practically, but from the inside out. So it's like even worse than what it should be, okay? So, your boy's getting burnt, and then he just keeps snapping. This random just keeps snapping. Keeps snapping. It's almost like some, if y'all watch Full Metal Alchemist, you know what reference I'm trying to make. But, oh well. Keep snapping. Hitting that hole with devious activity, right? Oh, God, my nose is stuffed. And so, while he keeps doing that, this nigga is like trying to get up, but he can't. Because he can only regenerate so much. Then it gets worse, right? This nigga pulls out a sword, pulls up on this nigga, and starts slashing this nigga. But what he does is, he starts burning the sword itself, right? So every time this dude gets slashed, it immediately gets cauterized, like, right? And he started getting slash. And no one can stop the fight because he didn't admit to giving up or, something like that, right? So Lavi and Deku seen this shit and they're like, hey, yo, this nigga's getting slashed. So dude eventually gets accustomed to like getting burned from the inside out, and he's auto healing just fast enough to where he's able to fight. But him fighting the sword and also getting mentally and physically cooked doesn't help, okay? So what ended up happening, right, is he gets up and he starts throwing some decent hands, but it's not really good enough. And this dude started cutting this nigga in all sorts of places. So it's not helping the situation, right? So, knowing he's going to lose this fight, he decides to take an eye. He takes one clean eye of this nigga, right? And then immediately get hit with the butt of the sword. And he's like, I'm going to kill you. And then, I guess you could say One For All or one of the announcers or somebody, that's enough, such and such. He said, but I'm not done. He realizes who's talking, All For One. He kneels down. My apologies, Your Highness, or something to that effect, right? He's like, I didn't know it was you. I thought it was one of these average announcers. He said, no worries. Go and get that eye checked out immediately. Yes, sir. And he's like, oh yeah. And then he tells like one of the other people, go get that other specimen. He's not dead yet, right? And so with him, not being dead yet, they pull up and look at homie, but homie's fucked mentally, right? He eventually gets his shit together. But what happened was, since he was getting burned for so long, he couldn't regenerate. His eyes got fucked up, right? So he couldn't see properly, right? That will be a problem later, okay? And so he couldn't see properly, and he's pretty upset about that. So he had to get used to seeing without seeing, and Deku and them started trading once more. But before we get into that, we got to talk about Lavi's fight, and we got to talk about Deku's fight. Lavi's fight was actually a fight that was in her favor. she was fighting one of these females that had a strengthening quirk. So all it really did was basically let her to enhance her physical capabilities, which in Lavi's case was actually in her benefit, right? So they started to fight, and Lavi basically was doing like some redirect Tai Chi kind of shit, right? So she's letting this bitch hit all up on her and just redirect to each punch and kick. Sooner or later, the fight ended. And boom, bitch is on the ground. Lavi's triumphant. She's like, yes! She has an appearance that resembles Aerie, but a little more feminine, if that makes any sense. And so, that shit happens, okay? Now, what the fuck is that? Now, we can talk about Deku's fight. Deku's fight, actually, this is where things get a little interesting, right? He goes in kind of scared, you know? He's like, what type of quirk am I gonna face, right? And then he walks in and he just sees an 18-year-old, which basically is a high-level individual. I mean, they're older than him, but you know what I mean, right? Them? No, not at all. And so, Deku's like, oh, shit. And it's a female, too, so it makes it worse. But she has like a blade kind of like quirk, right? She's able to use her blood to create blades and shit, right? And Deku's like, oh, hell no. Deku's like, oh, hell no. Throw the hands. So the smoke begins. He's trying, but the bitch is moving way too fast for this nigga. She slice, spin kick, pow. Hip, clip, air, water, help, boom, boom. Get him. He's barely hanging on to dear life. He doing backflips, kickflips, and all that shit, trying to weave and bob and weave. When I tell you, this nigga is struggling, he is struggling. Very something devious. Okay? And so, he's trying to bob and weave. He's trying to, like, literally, this bitch is coming for this nigga's eyes, his nuts. He's not safe. Boom. And this bitch got an eye patch, so it makes it worse. Because some people say she can see out of that eye. It's for one of her special abilities. But then, the bitch is like, all right, bet, I'm going to take it up a notch. And then the second she says that, Deku's like, huh? Now he can't see the bitch. Then, he feels different cuts. He's like, oh, well, I feel, man, kind of burn on my back. And then, boom, he started getting cut all over. He's like, oh, no. And Deku basically getting fucked up. Right? He's able to dodge the blades barely, but they're still, the blades are just, one, sharp enough, and two, long enough just for this nigga to get cut, okay? So he get his asshole fucked up, right? Nigga is getting beat on and abused on, okay? And it's not a pretty episode for the young Midoriya, right? He getting folded on. She hitting this nigga with some lethal combo. She hitting this nigga with the fucking bitch, that one bitch with the thick eyes off of Street Fighter. He get hit with those. He get hit in the chest with a mean knee to the soul. Nigga don't know how to act, don't know how to feel. It's real pain out here. So basically, Deku's getting fucked up, and this bitch has resemblance looking almost like Bakugo on some type shit, right? This bitch start fucking her up, man. Deku on the low getting mad because she's like, what did you think you were really going to do, quirkless loser? This is going to be a free dub for me. I just need some fucking money. And then it's like, I'm going to go ahead and save you some time. You know, the world's pointless. The happiness doesn't exist. Bitch starts stabbing this nigga multiple places, everywhere. Just hitting him with lethal combos, right? He getting stabbed. The bitch switched the blades and start poking him. Just stab. Boom, boom. Send him back like some Zora swordplay, right? Nigga tries to stomp on this nigga's head. He's able to barely weave that shit. He gets up and then, like, you know, he starts getting kicked, flipped. He trying to bob, weave. He's like, you're a quirkless idiot. Deku having flashbacks about when Bakugo was beating on him. And Deku just thinks about all the torment he's went through. And it's like what, past, basically his whole life, honestly. He's like, all right, bet, bitch. He said, I can't beat you in raw power, but I'm about to hit you with something deep. He said, hold up. grabbed that bitch while she was swinging hardcore because she went for a flashy read, right? He went with the momentum, slid his foot across the floor, and then like grabbed. He was, instead of just hitting her down on the ground like he did with Bakugo, right? He grabbed her, and then as that shit was happening, he started spinning and spinning until he could get, you know, as much momentum as he possibly could, and then chucked the bitch across the fucking like little cage or arena or some shit, right? And then after he did that, he tapped it, one eye barely open and shit, cuts all over him. She gets up. She's even angrier. So she said, "You're gonna die a painful death." Opens up like her little, like, she kind of got like a sports bra on, but she got like something under it. She opens that up and pulls out a whole bunch of like little tiny blades and shit, right? When she pulls out these blades, she said, "Die." Start throwing these hoes at your boy Deku. Deku started weaving them, but the problem was that bitch cut herself when she did that. And so she's able to control those hoes using her blood. And he's like, damn, I did watch this one episode of Dragon Ball Z, right? So what he did was, while the bitch was controlling him, he waited for, basically waited for her to think she surrounded him. Then she like acted like, you know, made it heat seek to like try to follow this nigga, because like she got some of his blood on it too. Deku start running up on her, going for kicks, and he's like, but what he does, right, is he does like a cheap shot or whatever, right? He like, not really cheap, but like he grabs her boob, and she's like, "You insolent brat, don't think I'm gonna let you cop a fill for free," right? And so she looks like Bakugo. Just imagine her red. She has red hair. That's basically, and a female, obviously. Come on, guys. And so then Deku's like, he'll wait for her to go low because he's small. Then he angles himself, because one of the things he was working on was flexibility, right? When people were spending time on the quirks and stuff, he spent time on other activities. So he got that flexibility down, and he said, "Boom!" And then as like he kicked up, basically it's like, imagine if you bent down, right? He got his left leg and bent that hole backwards and kicked up. Then what he did was, with his right foot down on the ground, he shifted all that momentum, jumped up, and then kicked her to the back of the cage again. And she's like, "You're really asking for it." And then Deku pulled up on her, and then like he said some, no, I know what he did. He gave the bitch a kiss, right? Some devious shit. The bitch got caught off guard. Then he jumped back, and the bitch was like, "Oh, don't think you'll be the first one that tried that." And then he's like, "Yeah, but I did what I needed to do." So what Deku does is he acts like he got stabbed because he got all this blood on him, right? But what he does is he actually holded the blade like around his armpit, right? Then he broke the bitch's arm, punched her in the face a couple times, which didn't really do shit, but that wasn't the point. Then when the bitch was like, "Oh, I'm gonna fucking rape you," like she was devious with it, right? Deku said, "Oh, we've game," and then did like a mean flip, gymnastic flow, right, on her shoulder. He said, "Nah, you got it." And then like he climbs up to the top of the cage, right? And what she didn't realize was her blades were still coming after her, because this all happened pretty fast. And she got like distracted with all these like shit Deku was doing, right? And so what ended up happening, right, was she backstepped trying to catch Deku, which Deku knows if he goes out, they're either going to shoot this nigga on sight, and they also have a collar, which they really never use, but that's also a possibility too, right? So Deku's standing on top of the octagon, basically, looking down at her, and he said, "What's up? You want a piece? Here, I'll come to you. Open arm and everything." Deku said, this move normally wouldn't work, but he basically takes a stance, cocks his hand back, and he's like, "All right, here we go. I'm going to hit this hole like a sniper rifle. I'm going to hit this hole like a sniper rifle." And then he started saying, "Snap, ooh, right, full." He started focusing just a little bit of chi, nothing big body, okay? I just got to justify why he's doing such a special move. So he said, "Ooh." And then he had a chant for it, but he won't be doing this often. He's like, "First, get the gun stable." And so his arm starts shaking. Second, cocking the bullet. Third, find your target. Fourth, aim, set, and fire. Girl's like, "Please, like I'm gonna sit there and let you hit me with such a move." But the second she says that, she forgot the blades are coming for her. Shoot. She gets cut. And she gets cuts in bad places, right? So she can't move. And he said, damn, I'm not gonna lie. As he's like standing over, it's almost like Gone doing rock, paper, scissors type flow, right? He's like, damn, baby girl, I'm not gonna lie to you. You pretty cute. But sadly, I'm the victor in this fight. He takes a small step forward and then, switches his feet position. But as he's doing that, a thunderous sniper rifle. That's all you hear. And you hear, pow! Sniper rifle. New technique. And then you see the arm that he used, bloody. Actually, he almost popped it out of place. And then he just like cups his hand up and screams, I won. And that's where we're going to leave this part off.